This is a greasy diner where they've been able to figure it out. And people that I know come from Michigan, and one of the first places they'll stop is Waffle House,
Yep.
even before they come see me at my house. I'm like, hey, yeah, oh, we're on our way. Oh, we're going to stop in Waffle House up in Tennessee. I said, what? We have them here, so if you just want to keep on trucking,
Yeah.
I'll
And
get you
for
there
people
tomorrow.
who don't know Waffle House, I swear to God, this is true. There are some freeway exits where there's a Waffle House on either side.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Hey everybody, it's Alan and Chris. Happy 2025. You're not supposed to date these podcasts, but in case you want to go back and date a podcast, this is it. We're in 2025. We took a month off, man. We've been doing this for 3 solid years and a quarter. And Alan's laughing, and we actually said, you know what? I don't want to guest. Actually, I'm the one who said that. So why did I say I didn't want to guest?
Are you going to get into why you didn't want to guess? Because you just told me.
I
Are
did.
you going to tell everybody?
I am, man. I'm going to tell you
Okay.
what, man. Yeah, I got into a funk, guys. I was down on it. I was down on not just podcasts. I was just down on running my biz. Things didn't go like I'd hoped in 2024. I look back on my body of work over 16 years, and I got myself into a really deep, dark funk. And I was not pleasant to be around. And this is the holiday season, which really sucked.
And you're usually the life of the party. The human hummingbird had no sugar.
Uh, so don't get me wrong. Just like a lot of people who are depressed, I faked it till I got home and crashed, and I crashed hard. I've slept more in the last 3 or 4 weeks than I probably did the 4 months before that.
And you were like in the basement in your jammies, eating ice cream and watching like chick flicks, right?
So, do you know how many Hallmark movies were made in 2024? Do you know, Alan? Because I do.
Do you? Did you watch them all?
32.
Oh God.
Oh God.
You were super dark. Why didn't you call me?
Because that's what happens. Here's what happens, guys. We just don't know when we're in it what to do. And while I was in it, no, I did not watch 32 Hallmark movies. I will tell you, I binge watched a lot of Disney. I told Alan, I said, you're going to laugh when I tell you that I watched Moana
And
by
I
myself.
spit out my bourbon.
That's right. So, can you go through that? Absolutely, man. I mean, we're here to inspire and talk to you guys, and great following. And this came on the heels of us going to a holiday party with one of our great guests we've had in the past, Steve Beach, and we went to his place. We met a couple of other people who've been on our podcast, met new people who are dying to come on our podcast, met other radio personalities who had heard about our podcast. Nothing but positivity all over the place. And what Alan doesn't know is that day, the next day, I was even in a deeper funk. And why? It's because
Steve gave me a bottle of bourbon and not you.
because Steve Beecham gave Alan a bottle of bourbon and not me.
For once, it was about Alan and not Chris.
I was so mad.
Wow, the genesis of revenge.
Oh, it was so bad. I can't believe it just happened. So, as we get started on this 2025, reinvigorating, repositivity, let's make it all happen. We decided let's get back together and just talk for a minute about customer service and things that have gone right. So, yeah, I'm in that deep, dark state, but I'm coming out of it, and I have, and I got myself back up on it because it's all biorhythms, man. We get back in it. You got to readjust things. You got to get things moving. So, hell, I'm going to do it.
Well, and when you're a small business owner, you kind of have to do that all by yourself. I mean, you're part of a mastermind group, and it could be somebody spotted it, and then they pull you out of your funk. But
I masked
your
it
team is not going to pull you out of your funk.
Your team's not going to pull you out. My mastermind group, I masked it when I met with them before. And so I went through, basically a holiday season where I had a lot of fun with my family. Don't get me wrong. But as I told you, Alan, I'm not that guy who goes, hey, man, people got a lot worse than me. I got a great life. I do. But that does not help me snap out of it. Even going to church and celebrating all the great things that Christmas is about with family didn't do it. It was a tough run.
Man.
Yeah, it was.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I know. So I thought, In fact, to the point where I was like, maybe I should just stop doing a lot of things, just call it good, 54, and maybe I can retire. What? No. So I went, screw that. No, I none of that. I got a lot more to give, and I'm so excited. And I'd love to tell you it was one person or one thing that got me out of it. It wasn't. It was a culmination of things. And I will tell you, it all came to a head when Alan came back in here in the studio, with AKA my basement where the bourbon is, and said, "Man, we got to get after this. Let's go do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." I'm excited
Nice.
again. So we're here. We're going to talk. Today's episode is just going to be Alan and I, and we're going to get you guys back into it 2025, riff it up a little bit, but talk about great customer service.
Well, we are customer service.
Freaks.
Yeah.
Hey, oh.
So do you have, and if you don't, you can think about it, but do you have any stories to tell where you were just absolutely blown away by something a company did for you?
So I don't have one off the top of my head right now,
Yeah.
especially in the last couple of weeks, because, last month, it would be hard because I wasn't looking for it.
You're not looking for it. Yeah, I've had a couple. You know one of my stories with Nordstrom's, and I've got a new one that just happened to me over Christmas that I want to tell you about because it makes me think how do these companies have the culture that allows their employees to be this awesome, and especially since people just are at a epic level of sucking all around us right now. I mean, the whole world is just on fire and mad at each other and irritated and offended.
And so when you
And the
say that,
service,
what you're talking about is in the service industry, when one person is trying to discern another service to somebody else, is that we're all short, right? We're like, hey, snap, snap, snap. I'm on my phone. Hey, snap, snap, snap. I've got my earplugs in. So that's how people are sucking, right? Is
yeah,
that what
well,
you mean?
no, they're just sucking in so many ways. And I mean, when you're interacting with a company, it's almost like you've got somebody in a customer service position who's assuming that you're guilty, treats you like a criminal, has no interest in what you have to say. You have to fight for what they promised you in the first place. I mean, all those things. It drives me insane. And every once in a while, you run across a bright spot. So I want to tell you about one of them. So, you know, um, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, when my dad died, and we were rolling into the Christmas season, and I think my wife was feeling like extra, supportive, and I really appreciate it. She's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, and we have this certain budget that we kind of work with mentally. We've never actually said it out loud, but I said, I really want a pizza oven, but I can't find one that I think is good enough within the budget that I think that we normally have for each other. And she goes, "Well, how much is the one that you want?" And I said, there's one called an Uni, and I thought it was Italian. It's actually a Scottish company, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Guess
Sorry.
who is thinking about getting an uni, and guess who has now crossed that off the list
No, no,
because it's
no,
not
no, no.
a paisan.
Wait.
I'm listening. I'm
Yeah,
listening. I'm
yeah,
back. I'm back. All right.
yeah. So she goes, "Why don't you get the one that you want?" Which, wonderful girl. And so I get the Uni, and
Which one did you get?
I got the Karu 16 because you don't want the 12 because it's too small. You can't rotate the pizza
With the dual
properly.
fuel?
I have both wood and then I can do gas.
You are my hero, and I'm coming over, and you're
Well,
making pizza for
the
me. Okay,
the only reason why you
because
should
I've
have
been looking at this sucker.
yeah.
I'm not kidding. Actually had it on my wish list and Christmas list, but I didn't put it on there because of the funk I was in, by the way, because I didn't want any of my family
This
to
would
buy
make
it
you
for me.
happy. It would pull you out of a funk. And so
Okay, all right,
all right,
continue.
okay.
I love this.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
I can
gosh,
tell
I'm
you the
so
difference
excited.
between the gas and the wood and everything. But just for the listeners, I've been making homemade pizzas for well over 20 years, and I've been pretty obsessed with it. And I felt like in my regular oven, I could make about as good a pizza as you could make at home. But I also know any kind of pizzeria, they're at 900 degrees in their oven, the New York pizzerias. And then, of course, the kind that I was going after was the Neapolitan style, and they're doing a wood oven. And again, they're up at those higher temperatures, but I love that wood fire flavor. So I get the Uni, and it shows up. And you remember the first time you opened an iPhone box and you were just kind of impressed at how it was packaged?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I would say that's how I knew Apple had the game figured out.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Because I was a BlackBerry guy and I
yeah,
had to get my first iPhone. And you remember that too. I still remember that. Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
it was a similar experience. And I open it up and then I open the manual. And on the very first page, it says, okay, we know that you really want to start making pizzas. So here's the 10 things you need to know. But we really want you to read the rest of the brochure because we think it's awesome.
That's what it said.
It said pretty much exactly that. And I'm like,
I think it might know Alan.
yeah, I go, how cool is that? I mean, that just sort of gave me kind of a, like, okay, I like these people. It's not that they just, made this thing in China and sent it to me. And there was an issue that I had. I can't remember if it was just trying to register the thing for my warranty or if it was they have an app and the app is great. So if you want to make a certain amount of pizza balls at a certain amount of weight, this much flour, blah, 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 based on your hydration percentage. I mean, it's pretty cool. So I remember I had a little trouble figuring that out and I reached out and I got this immediate response and it was really friendly and it was super helpful. And I was like, oh, that's kind of impressive. And then the uni itself was better made than I expected. And it had a couple of just a little touches to it that I thought, these guys, I mean, they get it. So I get a survey. And the survey's like, well, what do you think of your uni? And would you recommend it to friends? And I said, well, I got to be honest with you. I expected to get a good product. What I didn't expect was I was really kind of impressed at how well it was made. I was even more impressed at these little touches.
And I'm even more impressed that you filled out the freaking survey.
No, it was, yeah. I like giving feedback where it's due.
Yeah.
And I said, and honestly, my pizzas now are otherworldly. And I said, but what I'm really impressed with is this really cool vibe that I'm getting from everybody I've had contact with. And so I sent that in. 2 weeks later, completely forgot about pizza and everything. And there's a FedEx box on my front door. And I open it up and inside is this. And I've got it here in the studio and I'll show Chris. Crappy little white frame. And there's a moon and there's an alien and there's an astronaut and a pizza box.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
Allow me. So what is it actually showing us? It is showing us an alien, an astronaut eating pizza on an otherworldly planet.
I did not make the connection. Then I turned it over. You can read it.
Look my God.
Look at the little note.
And oh my God.
Look at the little note.
I can't believe what I'm about to read. Everybody, I'm going to read this note. We'll post this out. It says, welcome to the Ooni community. Alan, we hope your pizzas continue to be otherworldly. Happy Ooniing. So somebody actually flipping read it.
They read my survey.
And found this incredible thing. That
it's a crappy little clip art in a crappy little frame. But they sent it to me with that note.
Now that is cool. If you go to our YouTube channel, by the way, everybody, Small Business Safari, don't forget this, right? Guys, keep us going out there. We got some exciting news coming in 2025. I just told you about how deep and dark I was. There's no reason I should be deep and dark because not only are we on the radio, but we are actually going to go otherworldly when it comes this way. So I got the otherworldly up there. What a great customer service point. So they listened to you, Alan.
And I wasn't complaining. I mean, okay, so what they did was they turned me in turned me from a fan to a raving apostle.
You are a
Just
raving apostle.
Raving apostle. So I hang this up, and where my pizza oven is. It's in the fish shack out back.
Yeah.
Right? And I've got this rednecky little fish shack with all my smokehouse and my big green egg and all my stacks of different kinds of wood and stuff. And
Oh my God! You know who's going to buy a Noonie?
Everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody
I think we all need to buy a Noonie. So I'm not going to, but here's what I am going to do. I'm going to drive 5 miles up to Alan's house, and I'm going to say, Alan, make me a pizza. Mom!
Yeah.
Spaghetti!
Yeah. Meatloaf.
That's right. Mom, meatloaf.
So I hung this up, and I took a picture, and I sent it. And I sent them a thank you note. And I send the picture, and they respond super positively. Oh, that's so cool. And I like, great. And she goes, now I do have to say you should, and all of a sudden she gets all corporate about how far the Ooni should be from the house and stuff to not cause a fire hazard. But
don't worry, baby.
Yeah.
I'm a full-on freak when it comes to firing people up.
All right. So this was January 2023. I got it for Christmas. I got it basically in early December 2022. So a few weeks ago, I'm making pizza. They're the best I've ever made. I did a 72-hour slow ferment. I tortured the yeast on the countertop, and they were phenomenal.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, this is not a cooking show, but we'll continue.
All right. Best pizzas I've made.
But we are going to have paella with our friends in Spain.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think for 2025, we need to start doing some of these live remotes that we talked about. But
we did. We're going to get them.
I'm
going
to wrap this
I'm
up.
out of my funk, everybody. Let's fucking go.
Now that's the Chris I've been looking for. So I make these amazing pizzas. They're the best I've ever made. And I've made some really good ones. And these are just transformative. And what I do is, at the end of the night, I let the fire die down. And in the morning, I go out and I clean it up, and you flip the stone, and it actually bakes off the stuff on the other side on the next time you cook and all this stuff. So I get it all set up for the next, and I look down and the stone is cracked. And I'm like, I wonder if this is under warranty, but pizza stones cracking are a pretty common thing. And I can't find any information about the warranty. So I just reach out to Ooni, and I sent him a picture, and I sent him my serial number, and I sent a nice little note. I wasn't demanding anything. I just said, after a night of baking the best pizzas I've ever made, you can imagine the soul crushing nature of my discovery. I use the word soul crushing.
Alan.
That my pizza stone had split in half. And I'm wondering, is this a warranty thing, or do I just need to order a new one? I threw out there that I was willing to order a new one. That night, in the middle of the night, I get an email response back. And it wasn't, thank you. What do you normally get when you send in something?
We'll be back in touch with you after 24 hours.
Yeah,
or in my case, and some other shit going on right now. Nothing.
Yeah, well, yeah. So if you do get a response, it's a very boilerplate. Thanks. We're gonna look at we'll review this thing, or you're gonna get some sort of automated corporate answer. You know what I got? Alan, oh no! Exclamation point. I mean, not, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about this, or thanks for letting us know. It was, oh no. Like, she totally felt my devastation, the soul-sucking nature of seeing that your stone is cracked. And she said, I'm going to go ahead and process this and get you a new stone. And she goes, meanwhile, here's a couple of my favorite recipes. And it was for stuff you can make in your Ooni that isn't pizza. Like, I make a shrimp scampi in there now with the wood fire that's just killed.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Ooni has on it. We were tagging the hell out of him on this one.
Yeah, I mean...
And actually, I was writing while you were talking because it's just you and me. And I don't have to look like I'm interested.
Yeah, I actually appreciate the level of feigning to be interested you've showed me.
I've done it. So that was good. And it was, and I wasn't talking. I was just listening. So that's good. But no, we're going to tag the hell out of Ooni because I've been looking at it and looking at it and looking at it and didn't pull the trigger because, again, where I was at, I was just like, da, da, da. But so I went ahead and made pizzas in my cast iron in my oven. Not the same, are they?
No,
not even close.
No, now I will do Detroit pizzas in my oven. And, every once in a while, if I just don't feel like dealing with the elements outside, I'll do it. But it's not even close. I'm actually going to show you a picture here in a minute. But, I mean.
Oh, wow. All right. So, Ooni, customer service, showing that personal touch that people are listening to you, that overcomes the suck, right?
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I had to prove or I had to, I mean, they asked for a little bit of basic information, but it was just oh no, our friend Alan's pizza stone is broken. We need to
Yeah.
help him. And I
I
mean,
think,
how much, and so when you think about like Nordstrom, who we've talked about in the past, and I mean, they have this amazing customer service reputation. And I've heard stories where they take clothes back that they never even sold. And back in the day when they were first getting started, some guy returned tires. They've never sold tires, that kind of thing. There's a
that was out in Seattle. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that
there's a
one. That
certain
story is
percentage.
legendary.
They obviously know there's a certain percentage of the population who's going to take advantage of them. I mean, you're dealing with that right now in your business.
I am. Absolutely.
And how do you not assume everybody's trying to screw you when they're a customer? And then how do you budget to, I mean, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I don't know if this is under warranty. Maybe it is under warranty. Probably not. They just freaking handled it. Now they're getting a free podcast out of it. Chris is going to buy an Ooni.
I am.
My niece is getting married, and I already sent her Ooni. She's my cooking buddy, and I sent her Ooni for her wedding present.
So, but you don't know that, especially as a small business guy. But you do bring up a point, and this is what I would tell you, anybody, small business as you're growing. The first year you're in business and you only made 50,000. Well, let's say you killed it, man. You did $1 million in revenue. Way to go, big guy. Awesome for you. Yes, I'm jealous because I didn't do $1 million, but you had to refund somebody for $50, $500, $5,000. It doesn't matter. Here's the deal. You have to. And I heard that early on is like, you know what? Sometimes you have to refund people money because you can't make everybody happy. However, if you did this, I'm sorry that this thing went the wrong way, but that is a great picture.
Is that not an unbelievable looking pizza?
I thank you for sharing the picture. Oh, that's right. But let's talk about this. So as you build your budget in 2025, man, that is a really thick crust too.
And it's light as a feather, and it just crackled on the outside. It was just a poof.
Oh,
it was perfect.
that would have been really good.
Yeah, it would have
So
been.
My number is 678-429-4857. And that's what I share with everybody on the podcast. You want to call me? Go ahead. But don't because I won't answer. But you can text me, and I'll definitely respond to you because if you got a business question, I want to help. And that's what we've been doing. I actually just got done responding to another email today from another listener. But let's go back to this customer service part of this. You don't know if it works and it translates. You just don't. You never will. You are that astronaut up in the moon in an airspace vacuum that you don't know if it's going to happen. And you don't know if this guy's taking advantage of you. But you know what you can do? You do know this. You have spidey senses. You know when somebody's trying to take advantage of you. Not everybody is right. I've always said this. The customer is not always right. But if you put the customer first, you can do the right thing by them.
You're right.
That's a different mentality.
And you have to do it super cheerfully. And I mean, and that's the difference because when you were talking about, hey, if it's $50, it's like, okay, fine, screw you. Here's your $50. Well, what good does that do you? You may as well not give them the $50. But the way that they were like, oh no, they're like, that's terrible. Let me help you. I mean, I felt like we're on the same team. It just,
But let me tell you about the way you responded to them and the way a team responded back to you. And here's the thing. Sometimes people will respond to you as a service provider, and it sucks. When somebody responds to you in a nice way, you should go above and beyond. They always say, the old adage, the squeaky wheel gets grease.
yeah.
You guys should be going for the sweet wheel gets grease.
Yeah, what
and
do
I've
we
used
do?
that line.
Yeah,
in the
because the
office.
people who get stuff from you are the people who are assholes. And so you just begrudgingly give them stuff. What do we do for the people who are awesome, who pay full retail? I mean,
Right.
I've always said that. I'm like, could we not do something for our good customers that they're just not expecting, like this clip art in a little crappy white frame that is one of my favorite things. I mean, it did cost them. It was a little bit of time. It cost them the postage. They didn't need to do it. I wasn't complaining about anything. It was
Right.
but suddenly they turned me into this apostle. I mean, what can we do for our customers who are good to turn them into raving apostles?
Yeah, and I'm coming at it from the wrong side again because of my mentality and what's going on.
I know you want to slash tires.
I
There's
I
just
do,
not.
especially this one guy. He called out, and he not only blessed out my dispatcher, my call center, my service manager, and my general manager. And I listened to him talking to my general manager. I was about to get in the car and go over there and just absolutely, yeah, absolutely do everything you just said, because he provided the material. It was a butcher block countertop. We put it together. It is amazing because of the workmanship that we did, but he doesn't like that the wood is different because he bought this stuff from a big box store.
The wood is different than what?
The wood is a butcher block, and where it miters up in the corner, it's different. It doesn't match up perfectly.
Huh.
The grain doesn't match up. Well, of course it doesn't. It would never. But he told us to do it, so my guy did it, and my guy did it. Biscuit joint, great. Did all the workmanship the way it was going. And so you could ask yourself, well, Chris, why didn't you guys tell him that that was going to look bad? Because I've got now 10 examples online, and I have one that I personally did 15 years ago that people loved,
Yeah.
and they said they want to do it. And I said, boy, I've never seen this done. The first one I ever did, and I did it with one of my guys, and I can promise you, my craftsmanship compared to this one was not as equal. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't perfect. And this guy is now suing me. I'm like, really? But and he went right to the mat, right off the bat. Didn't even give me a chance to, hey, let me come out there and see it, because that's what I did. My first email to him is, I'd love to come out there and have a conversation with you and talk about it. No, no response.
See, and that goes to the cost of just um, having a good customer service reputation. I mean, you're ultimately going to take care of this guy, and now you're going to be in court, and some people just flat
Right.
suck. But the key is to not assume everybody else is going to be like that.
Yeah.
And
So here's the thing. Yeah, that's exactly right. You can't let my dark mentality permeate to the other 99 people out there who aren't like that.
no, and your employees can't see you do that either. And so then if you have a culture of, hey, let's look for ways to send this stupid little framed alien to our good customers, whatever the equivalent is in your business, don't you think that that just sort of creates this super positive vibe in the office? And so then that guy stands out even more separately as you are a uniquely qualified asshole on this planet. And it makes the good people look that much better.
I think so. I think you're right. I mean, so again, back to customer service. Uni, awesome. That was a great move. You talked about your Nordstrom experience in the past. I think in today's world, I do think they're getting a little stale. They're still great, but they still don't have that because they were so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
But do you feel like everybody's kind of catching up to them? Is there another one that you would recommend or
Well,
talk
I
about
mean,
that-
there's two companies just who are outliers in my opinion in a world that we wouldn't expect it. But one is Quick Trip gasoline, and for the parts of the country or the world that don't experience this, I didn't know about Quick Trip till I moved to Atlanta. They're actually out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they're mostly across the South, and it's a absolutely spotless gas station with a big convenience store, every kind of fountain drink, great coffee, bathrooms are spotless, and no matter what time of day or night you walk in, the employees immediately greet you. And I know that they pay their people well. I think they have a great management track. I think they have good benefits, but it's still, you're working in a convenience store gas station, and there's a really crappy one across the street that stinks. The bathroom's plugged. It smells like some weird incense. You know, I mean, what's the difference between the two? It kind of goes back to our talk about Chick-fil-A versus everybody else. I mean, they're just selling fast food, but it's a completely different experience when you go there.
And in today's world, that's the biggest part. That you know what? Are you willing to go across the street for 5 cents less and go to and maybe not use the restroom? Maybe. However, these guys are competitive in their gas, so their commodity is there. When you go in there, Quick Trip is my go-to when I'm here. Racetrack is number two in terms of convenience stores. Then why? Because you can get gas. I'll take a chance every once in a while and grab some food there. Okay, I'm not lying. They actually now Quick Trip now
It's
can
not
make.
bad.
I get the turkey wraps, but I get them custom made. And the bathrooms, you always got to make sure you get it for a multi-seater. But back to the customer service.
What did you just say?
You always got to go. You can't go for a one-seater, man, because you're always waiting for dudes.
Yeah, right.
And you're not waiting for dudes if you're going in there. You're trying to get your stuff done and get it over with.
Mm.
I'm not waiting for some guy to drop. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're not. It's called drop and trowel, bro.
But then, Waffle House. I mean, that company's been around forever. There's 200 of them just in Atlanta.
Now we're talking. Let's
Yeah.
talk Waffle House. So
Yeah.
Waffle House is a southeastern U.S. staple.
Yep.
And what are they known for? Cheap food that's open 24/7. In fact, they actually now have a great another moniker is that the Weather Channel says it's called the Waffle House Indicator. If they're closing Waffle Houses, you know it's bad.
It's a bad storm if Waffle House is closed.
All right. So when you walk into Waffle House, it is a greasy diner. If you've never been in the Southeast and seen a Waffle House, to paint the picture, it is a small, 20 by 60, maybe 30 by 60,
Yep.
maybe 30 by 90.
Brick building, glass on the outside, open grill with a counter, and
Open
then
grill
a few
counter
booths.
and a few booths, usually 10 to 15 booths around it. And they're all built the same. And you walk in there, nobody greets you and says, "Hey, welcome to Waffle House." They say, "Hey, where you want to sit?" And you get a laminated menu, and they wipe off the table, and you sit down. Or you sit at the counter if you want the show to see what's going on behind
Just
it.
don't look down on the floor. It's nasty.
You'd never look
But
down.
no, they do greet you when you come in.
Well, to tell you to hang on, sugar.
Yeah, you do get honey and sugar and all
You,
that.
you get hang on, sugar. Right? You sit right down. So when you sit down, but the minute you sit down, what happens? Lights are up. You're greeted immediately.
Mhm.
You are asked, "What do you want to drink? What are you looking for? Let's go." "Oh, you guys in a hurry? All right, let's go." They know exactly how to work with you. And you hear them in the back with the open grill. It's right in front of you. Stuff's flying everywhere.
And I mean, it's such a mix of folks, and obviously a lot of times I'm in the country, so it's a lot of country folks. It's people that maybe didn't go to school, blah 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 blah, and it could be 3 a.m. There's drunks at the counter, and they're friendly, and the food is consistent, and it's become a cultural phenomenon. I mean, I remember the Waffle House near my dad's place in Aiken, South Carolina. They actually had a Valentine's menu, and this is one of these places where I think there's only a total of 10 ingredients. It's just how they combine them. People get married at Waffle House.
So the answer is yes. The reason I know this is because Waffle House was founded here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I know the biggest franchisor of these, and I got a chance to talk with him about this years ago, so long ago that I'm not sure I even know how to get a hold of him to get him on here, but it's amazing. The training that they go through, they realize who we're dealing with. A lot of these people you said, and I love that you said that they didn't graduate high school. Some of these people perhaps may have been on the other side of the bars,
Yeah.
but they'll do it. But you know what they do? Everybody is incented on every shift for a pool team bonus. They're all there together, and they're all going to get the same bonus based on the tips and everything else that comes through.
Mm.
So based on the revenue, what's going on. So you go, well, wait a minute. What about the cash tips the waitress get? You're right. You can't get those. But you know what? She wants to share it with the cook and the chef, because if she shares with them, then guess who gets her food first?
Right.
Guess who gets a bigger tip? She does. So he put the whole team pool thing in there, and that's how they've incented this great behavior. I mean, when you go in there, this is not fine dining. This is not the top 10, 100 restaurants in the world. This is a greasy diner where they've been able to figure it out. And people that I know come from Michigan, and one of the first places they'll stop is Waffle House,
Yep.
even before they come see me at my house. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that for a minute. I have friends come down. I'm like, "Hey, yeah, we're on our way. Oh, we're going to stop in Waffle House up in Tennessee." I said, "What? We have them here, so if you just want to keep on trucking,
Yeah.
I'll get
For
you there
people
tomorrow."
who don't know Waffle House, I swear to God, this is true. There are some freeway exits where there's a Waffle House on either side of the freeway.
But how do they do it? They're a greasy spoon. You can think about the worst diner you've ever been into in your life, and when you go in there, it is not much better than that. But the hospitality, I mean, even the cook will turn around as he's doing the smash iron on the bacon, or if he's flipping the eggs, or if he's going over to the waffle iron, he's gonna chat you up.
What's your order?
My order has always been, and I go protein mostly, so I go almost all eggs all the time,
Oh.
and I love their salsa.
So the salsa they took away with COVID. because I would get a ham, cheese, jalapeno omelet,
Uh-oh.
grits and raisin
I can
toast.
tell you, that tells you
And
how
then
long
I
it's been
want
since
this.
I've been
I
there.
want the salsa, but I've heard in certain Waffle Houses it's back. It's killing me.
I did not know that. But you talk about the customer service at every level, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you train your folks and send your folks, here's the thing: inspect what you expect. Back to incentivizing what's going on. I just did this with my CSRs. I want them to sell more out of my handyman company, out of the office, than we send estimators out to. Why? Because it's more profitable. If I can send a handyman out, dispatch a guy, and we're starting to bill right away, then we're more profitable than having to roll somebody potentially for a free estimate and then pay their gas, pay their car allowance, do all this. That's a more expensive transaction for me. I
So you're
want
having them sell over the phone?
always, always.
How do they? Oh, that's a whole nother thing.
Oh, it's not a whole nother thing. Smile, Alan. Hey, welcome, sugar.
Apparently,
So-
we're going to have another podcast about
Yeah,
that.
we do. We talk about this, treating our first touch superstars, that they know that they're the first people that you interact with, that you got to put them first and center. And then as you do that, you got to put that customer first and center. And if you put them first and center, then you can help them. We can't help everybody, especially as a handyman company who asks us a lot of different stuff, and there are a lot of expectations that are not set that we need to set, and so that's what they work on. So back to great customer service. You talked about your Uni experience, which is amazing. We've just drained an entire episode talking about your Uni and the Waffle House, two totally diametric
I'm
things.
kind of hungry.
I know. And now with that, we got to keep on drinking, keep on eating. Hey, everybody, if you hung out with this one, you got to make sure you go out there, promulgate the good word. Here's what's going on in
Did you
2025.
just say promulgate?
Is that a big word?
I think it's one you just made up.
No, I think it's a word. I'm using that in Scrabble, baby.
Triple word score, promulgate.
Just like my family asked me, how come you don't play Wordle? I said, because I got plenty of things that can confuse me every day and make me not happy. So, hey, guys, go check us out. We're out there, Apple. We're out there on Spotify. We're about to be on the 680 The Fan Park podcast because I'm on the radio every week talking about home stuff here in Atlanta on 106.3 and 680 The Fan.
Look at you.
And while we're doing that, we're also talking to great people and great companies here on this podcast, man. We're just trying to help you get better because let's just all get better together. You know what? I shared some deep stuff early. I'll share more. Just give me an email, Chris@thetrustedtoolbox.com. Chris@thetrustedtoolbox.com. Hey, Alan, we got to get out of here. That was a great story. Thank you for sharing. Let's go Uni it up.
Cheers, everybody.
We're out of here.